This is Regained Wellness Podcast with Jamie Logie, episode 132, How Exercise Enhances Your Sleep. Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jamie Logie. I run regainedwellness.com, and this is the Regained Wellness podcast of the same name. So thanks for coming on out. If you're brand new here, extra special welcome. And what took you so long? I'm just kidding. I'm just happy to have you on board. And this episode will be about a combination of, I always talk about sleep as being, the number one thing you can really do to improve your health and your wellness and even your fitness and your strength and everything. It all ties back to sleep. So this show will talk about exercise specifically, obviously why it's good for you. It's, maybe a little refresher in case you've been plugging away on, training and workouts and you sometimes forget why you're doing it. And so it'll have a little info on that and then how that actually ties into getting better sleep. And, even what you do early in the morning sets you up for that night. So I'll go over all that sort of stuff. So just to start the show, I won't take too long on this, but there's a new thing I'm involved with called Patreon. And it's a way for people to support, say someone like me who's creating content and putting, information out, whether it be from like podcasts or videos or art or music or whatever. And what it is, it's not like a sort of a crowdfunding thing. It's not like a GoFundMe, but it's a way for people, like I said, to support a show like this. But at the same time, when you do support at whatever level, you get, rewards and stuff back for that. So in the case of like Patreon, what you do is it's like a monthly contribution that starts as low as like $2 a month. And then there's different levels that you can support. And then, say the higher up you go, the different reward things are put in. So it goes from, I'll do shout outs on the podcast to questions answered to giving away ebooks that I have, nutrition guides, all the way up to like full on nutrition coaching and consultations and stuff where you check in with me, weekly, and we do, sort of a nutrition overhaul and that sort of thing. And that's what Patreon's all about, is a way for people to support, stuff like I'm doing and give me the ability to, do more shows, do better quality shows. Like even though this is a free thing, like there are costs putting out a podcast. You have to pay for website hosting and the podcast hosting and where that's linked together and, just stuff like that. So it's, the show will always be free no matter what, whether it's something you would want to support or not. Like that's not a big deal. It's just, it'll always be free, but this gives me the potential opportunity to do more shows, more time spent booking and interviewing guests, better quality stuff, like better equipment and all that sort of thing. And that's what Patreon is. So if you go to patreon.com/wellness, that's where my whole thing is there. And you can see the different rewards and levels and stuff. Like when you're part of that community, there's, content they put out just for the, Patreon subscribers basically. So, specific episodes that they do that I just put up on there, and then different, goal levels and the opportunity to have more questions answered or featured on the show, or things where I maybe even like interview people who are one of the supporters if they have their own, health and fitness story and all that sort of thing. So there's more information if you go to patreon.com/wellness. Again, or if you go to the show notes for today, which will link up any of the information or resources I talked about, which is regainedwellness.com/132. So either one of those, and you can see more info. It's a really cool thing. And I support some people on there in the work they're doing. Some people on YouTube who do nutrition things, and yeah, I think it's a really cool platform. So that's all I'll say about that. Just wanted to get you into the whole, sort of community and movement that Patreon is. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get to today's episode. Okay, some things just go together hand in hand, whether it's movies and popcorn, peanut butter and jelly, Zach Morris and Kelly Kapowski. They're just meant to fit. And another great combination is sleep and exercise. So if you're treating your workouts right and being consistent, it's obviously going to have a massive effect on your health. I mean, that's the whole point of this podcast, is about health and improvement and how big a part fitness plays with that. At the very lowest level, it just makes you look better, and you can be honest, that's probably a majority of why everyone does work out. They just want to look better, and that's fine. And kind of a feedback of that, or I don't want to say, the word is probably side effect, but that's the wrong term in this case. But when you train to look better, the side effect, unquote, is improved health, and kind of vice versa. If your goal is to get healthier and stronger and, everything like that, one of the side effects is you start to look better, better appearance and body composition and everything like that. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to train to just look good, and people have their own reasons for everything. So it's, like I said, your workouts are not only going to help your health and your appearance, but they're actually going to help you get better sleep each night. And then that is going to help improve everything even, tenfold more. It's going to enhance everything you're doing by improving on where you're at as far as, lean muscle mass, body fat levels, energy levels, the whole deal. So a quick look, again, like I said, if this is probably a refresher, but, people forget what exercise actually does for the body. So besides making you look good in those short shorts, it's, here's some of the highlights that I think stand out mostly when it has to do with fitness. So first being increased muscle mass. And again, that looks good, but it's functional as well too. It helps support your body and your back and your shoulders, and it keeps things lined up and strengthens the joints, and it helps day-to-day functions perform better, whether it's, lifting your kid up or taking groceries out of the car or putting up like whatever. Like, it has a feedback not just related to how you look. After that, you've got decreased body fat, and obviously you don't need to go too much more into that. The lower your body fat levels are, the better, but not too low. That's a whole other thing. When you start getting too low, you start throwing a lot of hormonal factors out of whack. So your body does want some fat, and it's actually healthy to have some fat. Obviously, too much, not good, but with exercise, you're bringing those body fat stores down a little bit. Next thing, stronger bones comes from exercise. It's actually one of the best reasons to lift weights is stronger bones. Again, like I said, tougher joints. Other health reasons, you lower your risk of heart disease when you exercise. You improve your mood. Everyone, I'm sure, is aware of endorphin release that comes from exercise, but that's that's one of the addictive traits. Your body craves the endorphin. So when you do exercise and you have that release, your body wants more. And it's better to crave something like that than, toaster strudels at 2 a.m. Like I said, you improve strength. Your flexibility actually goes up as well with exercise, and that's beneficial. And to me, really one of the most important things is a stronger immune system that comes from fitness and exercise, and your body's ability to fight off disease or infection and everything like that. So there's, I forget what the trainer's name is, follow on Twitter or Instagram, and anytime he talks about like sickness, or if you run down and you have a cold, and he said the best prescription is deadlifts. Get in doing a full body exercise that'll toughen and strengthen your immune system and help fight and combat off any cold or flu or whatever like that. So probably shouldn't deadlift when you have the flu, but when it's starting to come on. So, and then as we're talking about here today, one of the big benefits of fitness and exercise is better sleep. So when you exercise, you allow your body to move in the way it was designed, and your body rewards you again, not just with the, outward appearance, but those mood boosting chemicals that make you feel good and motivate you to continue. And then after, that process goes, you regulate your circadian rhythm. And if you remember back to high school biology, and, the circadian rhythms are important with, the day cycle and controlling also your sleep cycle. And exercise in the day has a benefit at night because it can boost the daytime alertness. And when that alertness goes up, you're able to go into that natural cycle. Eventually, it's going to taper itself down and bring on sleepiness. So it is actually good to exercise at some point in the day, if possible, as opposed to later at night, because then you allow this natural rhythm to sort of take place. So I'd say it's not that you have to, like, this can get a little complicated. Like, it's not that you have to exercise in the morning or in the day. It's just the best time of day to do it is when you're most likely to consistently do it. You're going to have to find that sweet spot. As I'll go around here and say that there are some good reasons to do it a little earlier in the day and in the daytime, if possible, as opposed to like 11 p.m. at night. But if you're able to get in a good routine where you're more motivated and you're more likely to go, that's what's going to give you overall results. And it's really, I mean, the specific programs you do and the training you do, they're very important. But the number one thing that comes behind results is adherence and sticking with whatever you're doing, whether it's CrossFit or straight strength training or yoga or like, this doesn't have to be gym related, like even hiking or whatever. If you do HIIT training or whatever it is, the adherence, consistency, discipline, that's what's going to get you results. Whatever you're doing is stick with it. Same thing with diet wise, that they found it's not always necessarily say you're following like a paleo diet or a vegan diet or a Mediterranean diet or a whole food, whatever. They find it's not as much as what makes up that diet as the fact you're sticking with something consistently. And that's what's bringing better results, is adherence. And then mainly is because when you're focusing on one, I don't like using the term diet, but more like eating lifestyle, whether, like I said, whether it's paleo, Mediterranean, or vegan, or whatever. When you stick with these things, they're based around real whole foods, and if you look at them, they don't include, artificial ingredients and refined sugars and carbs and junk and processed and manufactured food. So that's the big thing. It's as much what they don't include as what they do include. So the main thing is that focus on the real whole food, and then whichever one you're following, it's more the adherence and sticking with it, because you're making room for those better things, and being consistent. And that's basically what gets results. So with the workout thing, if you work at 11 p.m. at night, and that's when you can consistently go and you're finding you're getting good results and progressing, then that probably works fine. And like I said, it might, if you're new to fitness or if you're getting back into it, it might take some time to figure what sits best with you, because like I said, the best exercise program is the one you're going to stick with. The most perfect design training program ever made doesn't mean anything if you're not going to do it consistently. So don't feel bad about having to play around and like, oh, maybe I'm not a morning workout person, I do better at noon. That's fine. There's not a rule of when you have to exercise. When you can, I'll show some reasons why I think it's good to try and get it more in the day. I've exercised every time of day you can imagine, from, I don't know, 5 a.m., 9 a.m. workouts, lunch workouts, all the way up close to midnight. When I was in university, the days were so busy with classes, and I played hockey. I went to university and I went to a different college, and I played hockey at the college, and I was working at the same time at a gym. And I look back, I have no idea how I managed all this, but like school, is busy enough on its own. And then playing hockey where you practice a couple times a week, and then a game, and then, work, personal training, and the work schedule. And I found the only time I could go was 11 o'clock at night, and I would bike to the gym. Even in the winter, I would bike in the snow, because that was the only time I could do it, and that was the best time. And I just kind of got consistent with that, and it's kind of bizarre to look at that now. So like, I've done every single time of day workout, and I found for me, my sweet spot's around 11 a.m. Anything from 10:30 to 11. I find if I don't get in by 1, that I've sort of, to me, missed my little window of opportunity. It's not that I won't, but like a 5 o'clock, you couldn't pay me to go to a gym at 5 o'clock when the entire world goes in. I'd rather go biking instead. So not just, population wise at the gym, where it's busier before lunch. I'd say noon's kind of my cutoff, but somewhere around the way, I've found that's my best time. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I mean, they say like your natural testosterone levels peak around noon. So, strength wise and energy wise, you might be a little better at that point. They also say around even 5 o'clock is your highest strength point of the day, depending on what research you look at. So for me, I find I don't mind it in the morning, but I just don't feel strong. So something around 11 where I've been able to eat at least once or whatever. So that's what I try to stick with. So if you're, getting back into training, or it's new to you and you do have a lot of flexibility and can play around with when you want to work out, I would recommend actually starting in the early morning, especially here as it pertains to sleep. And, like I was saying, it seems odd that what you do early in the morning would have an impact like 12 hours later, but it's because that early morning workouts help set that body clock to run properly, getting you more energetic and alert. And then when that starts, it can engage that proper circadian rhythm where it can start to slowly taper through the day and then get you more into that, sleepier sleep cycle stage later when you'd want to actually go to bed. And so there's some info here, and this is from, where is this? The Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. And they looked into this issue, and they found that women who exercise in the morning average 70% better sleep than those who did in the evening because of that circadian rhythm and that cycle being allowed to take place. So if you're, and I understand everyone's busy, getting to the gym might not even be possible in the day, or even slipping away at lunch. Of course, everyone's completely busy. It's not always practical. I would just say if you're going to work out at night, you don't want it to be too intense, as you may find it difficult to unwind, as your body will really be pretty alert and wired after exercise. I mean, that's what it does. If you do it properly, you should feel energized and rejuvenated and ready to go. If it's a good tip, if you're leaving the gym absolutely beat to crap and you can barely walk out, and you're just dying, that's really not, I mean, every now and then that's okay, but that's really not the main purpose of exercise. You should leave the gym or whatever exercise you're doing, you should leave kind of wanting more. Like you should feel like, oh, I could keep going. It's kind of finding that sweet spot between pushing yourself and then not going too far. But again, like exercise should leave you more energetic and ready to go. I've played in some different hockey leagues in the last few years where some of our games, and I played in this one league where our games, the earliest game was 10:30 at night, and some of the later games would start at 11:45 p.m., which is just absurd. So, I mean, by the time the games finished, it was close to 1 a.m. By the time you got home, changed out of there, it was like close to 1:30. And I don't know if you've ever played hockey, with the intensity of it, your body is just jacked after, and it takes hours to wind down. Like I played yesterday at 4 p.m, and you're still sort of buzzing off it. I found at like 9 or 10 that night. It's because it's such, like, hockey is the ultimate in high intensity kind of interval training, because every shift you do is around, 45 seconds to a minute and a half. And this is full out. So I imagine you've watched hockey on TV. You're performing this super intense, you're basically sprinting. You're going as fast as you can for that, let's say minute, which is like what high intent, like HIIT training is. Because with hockey shifts, it's just full on. You're skating at, I mean, the top guys are skating, close to 40 kilometers per hour while balanced on this like 3mm steel blade and trying to control a puck and make plays while still kind of battling other guys and, grinding in front of the net, being hit on the boards. So each of these shifts is full on, and then you go back to the bench and it's a 2 or 3 minutes before you do the next shift and you do it again. That's basically HIIT training completely. And this is the ultimate in, building endurance and fitness and stuff. So you've completed this whole workout at the same time, being mentally engaged in the whole thing. you don't just finish a game and just go to sleep. Like, you're completely wound up. And not to mention the fact, like, at this time of day, it's later at night when your body should be sleeping and winding down, and you're playing in this bright arena, all these bright lights, super intense and whatever. And yeah, so I found at that time of day, you'd be up for hours and hours, because that's what exercise does to you. So when you are, doing your own workouts and stuff and leaving the gym, you want to feel energized. You want to kind of be bounding out of there, and that kind of feed off that exercise. If you're crawling out, you probably went a little too far. And like I said, every now and then that's good to kind of just, push yourself and see where you're at. But ultimately you want to feel rejuvenated, and ready to go. So at night, it can be, you can still be exercise. Like I'm saying, I'm not suggesting like crazy, super intense, but stuff can be still pretty good and actually help in the wind down process. If it's, just, going for walks or doing yoga, like that stuff can have a definite good place, because again, it can help with that wind down process and whatnot. So if you are exercising during the day and getting in workouts, what exercise should you be doing? And again, that comes back to that consistency issue regarding the best time of day for you to exercise. The best workout, it's the one you're actually going to do, and you want to find what appeals to you most that you'll stick with. And I believe weight training is very important, so I would try to incorporate some of that in, but that can take on different forms. It's just, giving your body some resistance to combat against. And that can, if you're not part of a gym, you don't have to be in a gym to be fit at all. It helps. It's convenient. You have access to a ton of equipment for only, like a few dollars a day or whatnot. But you can do body weight resistance stuff at home. You can do, exercises just like squats or lunges, mountain climbers, burpees, planks, push-ups, the whole deal. Anything where you get that resistance in, again, for lean muscle and strengthening your bones and your tendons and everything like that. But the main thing is other, relatively intense, vigorous training doesn't always have to be weights and strength training, though it helps. So the things that you are drawn to, that you're more likely to do, are the ones you'll want to stick with. So it might be swimming, it might be hiking or CrossFit or Pilates, yoga, tennis. You could chop cinder blocks with your hands. The thing that just appeals to you and draws you in is the one you want to stick with. So if you want to, if you're looking for what to shoot for aim-wise for how much you should do it, again, if you're new, getting back into it, the sweet spot for exercise appears to be around 150 minutes per week. This comes from the American Heart Association. And when they're talking, they're talking in exercise goals to help, prevent heart disease and stroke, and to improve overall cardiovascular health. So when they talk about this 150 minutes per week of kind of moderate exercise, or 75 minutes per week of vigorous exercise, that's kind of your goal here. So 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week is a pretty easy goal to remember. And then that's when you start to experience those benefits when you hit that, that 150 minutes per week. You also experience benefits even if you divide your time into, say a couple, 10 or 15 minutes a couple times a day. I think it's good to do it all in one shot, because then you can kind of devote that time. It's not always easy to split it up. It might be for you, but if you can do it all in one shot, that's going to be best. And as well, to still, help lower blood pressure or cholesterol. So there's a few different ways you can break that up. But again, like if you're looking for health benefits, keep in mind that 150 minutes per week, or the 75 minutes of more intense, vigorous exercise. So if you're new, you probably want to start out with a little more moderate. You just do 30 minutes a day of whatever you're liking, Monday to Friday. It's an easy way to remember. And then, take the weekend off. You can obviously expand from there, but the focus is just to get moving and getting more detail down the line. So this is a good place to start as far as getting those heart health benefits, the cardiovascular health benefits, and then improving your sleep. So, and that can be mixed up through the week. You might want to do one day 30 minutes of just a walk. The next day could be 30 minutes swimming. Wednesday could be 30 minutes yoga. You could do strength training another day, mix it up. And then, if some things appeal to you more, that can make up the majority of your exercise for the week. So like I said, the main thing is just to get kind of concentrated on being committed and adhering to that weekly routine, whatever it may look like for you. So that way you're improving your sleep each night. That will energize, rejuvenate you. Like you said, sleep is called the force multiplier. In whatever you're doing, it's going to enhance or detract and make things either better or worse. So if your body is run down and you're stressed and you're sick and you're not getting sleep, those things become even more pronounced. Your body feels even more stress. It gets even sicker. It gets even more run down. Then on the other hand, if you are exercising well, if you're eating well, drinking good water, staying clean, energetic, and you get good sleep, all those areas are even more enhanced. Your fitness gets better. Your energy levels get even better. So that's what sleep's going to do. And if you're consistent with workouts and fitness, they have a hand-in-hand effect. So your sleep gets better, and then the workouts get better, and then you're more motivated to do them. And that's when health starts going up and up and up. Adherence, consistency, and discipline. So I think that's a good place to leave it now. If you had any more questions about this, or maybe other topics you want to see covered in regards, you can write to me at info@regainedwellness.com. Just sort of scratching the surface here, but I'll link up some more detailed stuff on sleep if you want to hear it, and maybe a few more of the episodes I've done on specific fitness. So I've done some shows, they're entire shows unto themselves, where I talk just about strength training and more details, or high intensity interval training, or Tabata training, or whatever. So if you want more, I'll link those up. So that's the show notes, regainedwellness.com/132. And then you could, pick and choose some of those episodes if you want a little more insight. So, and then like I mentioned at the top of the show, if it's something you want to support as low as $2 a month, I think it is, that you can go to patreon.com/wellness and find out more about being able to support the show, and then, the different wards and the community aspect that's all involved with that. So ultimately, no matter what, I appreciate you listening. I know there's so many podcasts out there right now. So the fact you're listening to this one, that means a lot. So I really appreciate it. And, when it comes to your health and your wellness and your fitness, it's an ongoing pursuit. And I like to say this a lot. It's not always going to be perfect. The main thing is that you focus on progress and not perfection. And ultimately, that's going to help you get to a better and healthier state. Okay, that's it for me. Talk to you soon. Bye.